Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Real Football Talk, and we are back. Yeah, we've had a little bit of a break, um, due to me having a newborn. So yeah, that's why we had to kind of take a bit of a break from the football
How,
world.
how is congratulations, and how is fatherhood treating you first few
Yeah,
weeks?
well, I mean, you can see the eye bags, right? There's a reason I'm wearing the glasses.
It's all worth it though. Definitely all worth it.
100%, 100%. But back to business because there's a lot been happening and I've been itching to talk about. I mean, first of all, obviously, we had right at the beginning of this transfer window, we had the Haaland news, and then boom, Liverpool go in with Darwin Núñez. I mean, 100 million euros, I think it was. What a signing! What did you make
I
of that?
think
Let's kick off with that.
yeah,
I mean, with the add-ons, yes.
yeah, with add-ons and everything. I think it's a statement of intent. Really smart signing. If you look at there's a premium on strikers. There's not many good or highly promising, talented strikers. I mean, I do think Haaland is world class already, and Nunes has potential to be. Uh, it's very hard to become really world class, but he's got all the ingredients. He's got stature, he's got pace, he can play in different positions in the forward line. Um, and once City made that move, you have
Yeah,
to fight back. You have to
yeah,
respond, and Liverpool have definitely responded. And it just shows, that shows a big club mentality. That shows that they're going to continue to take the fight to City. They're not going to get back down. And at the end of the day, they lost the title by 1 point, and you know they're not feeling sorry for themselves. They're not looking to
but I think
give up.
for those people that are not fully aware of Darwin Nunes that much, and like there will be people who haven't watched like the Portuguese league match. What will he bring to Liverpool, and what will he add to that front three that they have, or front four they have that's so dynamic?
I think he'll give more of a focal point. Um, it gives a bit more of a direct option. He can handle himself with direct balls. But the main thing is he's an excellent finisher. I mean, he doesn't take too many touches to put the ball in the back of the net. He's very comfortable shooting first time. And yeah, ultimately, he's in the same mold of Haaland in the sense that he can link up, he can go in behind, he can do both, he can hold up the ball. So he's an all-round very good footballer. So I just think, yeah, he'll suit the style a lot. I'm not sure if he'll straight away start in that 9 row because he's not accustomed to playing false nine, which is kind of the system Liverpool really play or try to play. But no doubt he'll adjust and get integrated soon enough because one of the best assets or one of the best things about this Liverpool team is they're very good at integrating players into their system and getting them to understand the place. And some they hold back, like Robertson. They waited like good 6 months before he started playing. Others they throw in like Diaz. So once they know players fit the system, understand the system, they throw them in, and they're very good at getting players who fit the system.
But the other brilliant thing is that it's not like they're short or they're short on numbers in those positions, so they can afford to give him that time to kind of like settle in, and they bought him early as well, so he's going to have a full preseason with them.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. The Liverpool are stepping up to the challenge of how City have operated, which is with supreme efficiency. Get your signings done earlier. Now Liverpool are showing the same intent, and it's exciting to see how toe to toe these two are going. Like City get Alvarez and Haaland, and
you're trying to take the questions
Ramsey
out of my hand, Adil, by talking into it.
I can't help it. What can I say? But no, I mean, it is really exciting. I really like the ambition of Liverpool and the reaction because, come on. I mean, Julian Alvarez looks like a really good player. That looks like a better signing every day for 17 mil.
Yeah.
And then we all know Haaland for 51 mil is just crazy. So that could flatten any rival or anyone looking to compete with City because they just won the title without a striker. And then what have they gone and done? Got two amazing strikers who will both score goals. And suddenly they're in such a, like, they've got that position filled for years to come.
And it feels like there's a real, it felt like a real momentum with City and everyone's talking about City. And with this Nunes signing, all of a sudden, like, you can tell there's a bit more of a two-way street there now.
I mean, and going in for Ramsey as well.
Yeah, Calvin Ramsey, another great signing.
It just shows that they're being efficient, and it's smart business because look, this paid 64 million, I think, up front. The rest is add-ons. They sold Mane for 35 mil. They've got 18 mil coming from Minamino with add-ons. They've already recuperated literally 55 mil of that 64 mil. Then they got other players going out, and that's what makes them a bit different from the rest. Is Liverpool are good at getting players out as well as getting them in. They're quite smart in the way they do it. Other clubs, especially like United City, sometimes City don't, but sometimes they struggle to get rid of those players. Instead of one, but you have to say, Nunes is a very good signing.
Ramsey's probably one for the future. They're going to slowly integrate to kind of be the full-time backup for Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, and already his style is very similar. He dribbles slightly more than Alexander-Arnold, but the way in which he keeps the ball in front of him, the way he dribbles is quite similar to Arnold. He takes on, which Alexander doesn't really take on.
But gives them a different dimension as well, isn't it? He does something different to.
And it just shows that they're continuously strengthening, and it's another young signing. Both of young signings, so future's looking bright.
Yeah, let's switch our attention a bit to the departing player, Mane. He's been at the club for 6 years. I mean, club called him a legend, and I'm surely so because I mean he's been heavily involved in them winning the first ever Premier League in a long time, really.
I think I always say when a player gets 100 Premier League goals, you have to give them respect. I mean, you have to tip your cap off to them and give them respect, give the name respect, because at the end of the day, and that's the shocking thing. I think the other day I was looking at some stats or something, and there's some amazing players that just haven't reached.
Never reached 100. 100 Premier League.
Yeah, and I mean, the guys you'd think shooing, they would be like, of the one that surprised the most is Aubameyang.
Yeah,
never reached 100 Premier League goals. It's like, well, so you have to give credit to Mane. The fact that he still gave his heart, gave everything, even though clearly he wasn't being treated fairly, really, when you look at his wages and the fact that they hadn't negotiated or improved his wages, and that patience has paid off. I mean, if you're gonna leave Liverpool, you want to go to a club that you're sure to win things with and sure to compete for the big titles, and Bayern Munich is that club.
I mean that's what he said, isn't it? He straight away said in his press conference that as soon as Bayern were in, there was, for him, that was it, really. He wasn't looking at any other clubs because there was a lot of clubs interested in him.
And I think he's played in Germany before, so it's not like it's a league that's not known
for him.
So I think it's a smart signing. I think Liverpool have done well as well. 30-year-old, 35 million for him.
That's quite good.
And probably they would have been harder being a bit more hard nosed in their sales, they probably would have demanded a bit more. But the fact is, they've also recognized the loyalty Mane has shown, and the fact that he has been a good team player, even though he has probably some valid reasons to be unhappy, but he's never caused trouble within
But
the
he
group.
said Klopp did try persuading him, but yeah, I think it was too late. So
yeah, at the end of the day, every player wants to be valued not just by the manager or by the players. They want to get valued by the club, by the board, and the only way they can do that is through the contract. And if you don't give them an improved contract, there's so many average players that aren't even first teamers.
Yeah,
can't even score 5 goals in the Premier League that on way more than Mane, and that might come back to bite Liverpool. Their hard stance on the wages with someone that is as prolific as that. Time will tell. Can Nunes plug that gap?
well, Nunes and I mean Diaz as well, isn't it? Because Diaz is playing mostly on that left hand side.
Yeah.
But before we move on from Liverpool, quick one: do they need to strengthen anywhere else, or do you think that's them done for the summer?
I don't think with Liverpool it's a need, but I think it's from the rumors they're open to getting a backup for Salah already to strengthen themselves, because it's obviously become clear Salah might potentially have agreed a move to Barcelona next summer for free. So if that is true, and they would know, the hence why there's interest in Rafinha, there's interest in Asensio. So I think only if something good comes up and it's the right money, they may go in for another, left-footed, right-sided, attacking inside forward, potentially.
Yeah. But still exciting.
Yeah, I thought they needed to get a backup for Fabinho in a bit more, or like someone properly a backup for him, because when he gets injured, Henderson can do a job there, but also he's quite influential playing box to box. So, but maybe they're thinking as Henderson gets older that he's going to naturally be a better deputy for that position. We don't know.
Yeah, cool. That's fine. Let's move on. Arsenal. Let's start with the signing first. Fabio Vieira. What do you make of him? Everyone's saying that is the next Bernardo Silva and so on and so forth. But
I mean, there are a lot of similarities. No, you can't deny there are similarities to Bernardo Silva in the way he plays, cultured winger. Really surprised though when you think about what Arsenal are doing. I mean, everyone thought, they're going to strengthen midfield, they're going to strengthen up front.
Yep.
And all you hear them getting, rumored to going for are just wingers non-stop.
And
left-footed ones. It's like they're still going after Rafinha. All right, we know they're going for Jesus, but it's like Edu is working his magic because he's the I think the technical director of the Brazil national team.
And
he's using that influence.
We're trying to make Arsenal into the Brazilian national team, okay?
Yeah, but then they're going for quality players. Clearly, a market that Edu has an advantage in, and even Marquinhos they brought.
Yeah.
So he's using his strengths in the market. And I think nowadays it's very difficult to get value because every club is just holding out for stupid money, really. Yeah. And the thing is, clubs want to do their business early. Everyone knows that. And out of all the leagues, Premier League's the only one that's really got money going. Everyone else is relying on income coming from the Premier League. So that's made everyone be a bit more sterner and stubborn in their pricing. So you can't get a good deal out of Italy. I mean, look at the Lukaku deal. You can't get a decent deal. Pay 100 mil and you loan it back for 8.5.
We'll get to that.
No, but just as an example, it's a tough market. So I think Edu's working his magic, using his Brazilian links, and they are all quality players. I mean, Gabriel Jesus will transform that forward line.
Mm. But
And but the strange thing is, why are they going for Rafinha still?
that
If they got Fabio,
okay, I'll tell you. I think what is they're trying to move Pepe on. So that's the biggest thing. They want to move Pepe on and get someone else back in to strengthen
both of
because
them.
last year there was a lot of pressure on Saka, and obviously they're going to be in Europe this year, so they need a bit more options out wide as well.
I don't know. I think it just says that they're going to play Saka more on the left this year, which he done. I prefer him when he plays on the left personally, but I think
he's more clinical.
I think that's what it shows because you don't need Saka, Fabio Vieira, and Rafinha all playing with their left foot cutting in. You know, you don't need three players who are potentially good enough to be starters.
Do you know what I hope happens is I hope they get this Tielemans deal over because I really think he's needed in that midfield because
it seems like they've gone cold on the Tielemans deal, and I don't blame them. Leicester are one of the toughest clubs to negotiate with.
So they want Leicester won I think 30 million or something. But for me as Arsenal, like Leicester won 30 million. Just do it, man. 5 million more. Just get it done and over.
No, but it's not just about 30 million because Tielemans is a player that will demand minimum 200k a month. You know, he's not like one of those.
I think they said personal terms isn't an issue. But obviously it's Leicester's there.
No, but if the personal terms are like 200k or 200k plus, then you're gonna want to make some savings on the transfer fee.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I thought they'd go for midfield. It seems like they're content with their midfield options because they're not really putting it as a priority.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's one of the areas they really need to improve on because even though Fabio Bria, I think he's like a backup to Odegaard than anything. That's what it seems like to me. Because they're very
I mean, he scored 11 goals in his last 12 games for Porto. He seems like someone who's really hit his stride. He replaced Luis Diaz, and
what is it? He's got his was six assists. 6 goals and 11 or 14 assists.
Yeah, but that was most majority was in his last 12 games when he actually got starts because they sold Luis Diaz. So clearly, there's some serious talent
on
there.
him, Adil. I don't know if you've watched him, man. To me, he seems like really fragile. Very lightweight.
He does seem fragile. I think that was one of the reasons why they call him a late bloomer in the sense that I think he last year is his first season where he's broken into the first team and he's 22 years old. And even then, a lot of that is because they sold Luis Diaz in January.
Yeah.
So I was surprised by the signing personally.
It just
doesn't seem like that's where Arsenal need to prioritize signing.
Listen,
especially for that outlet.
I'll be honest.
Belief in him.
If we finish the window with Jesus and Eddie and Nketiah as our striker, I won't be pleased with that because I think that's just leaving it too light. I don't think Eddie's the real deal.
But as a backup, he's okay.
Yeah, but yeah.
I mean, the problem is Jesus has got a history of serious injuries with his knee injuries. He's been out long term for a few seasons. So if the worst was to happen and they go for Jesus and he gets serious injury, then that decision to back Nketiah. But the thing is,
I think we still need another striker.
But I think that's something you can't do it straight away, especially when you just convinced him to sign the contract. You can't then completely show you don't really, because then it just shows you are dishonest, and things like that can destroy the morale within a group because suddenly all the players realize, oh, Arteta talks a lot of rubbish because he promised him he wants to keep him, but it's actually just business.
Yeah,
just why to sign a new contract
so they can tell him off. Yeah,
so I think
maybe further down the line. Yeah, smart one. Should we move on? I mean, you kind of touched up on it.
Only thing I wanted to add is with Arsenal, they clearly showed they need to wheel and deal in the sense that when the hell they're going for is it Lisandro Martinez, the
Sandro
defender?
Martinez, yeah.
So that's clearly because there's a lot of interest in Gabriel. So they clearly are they're willing to do deals where it means they'll get a good enough replacement of similar style,
Yeah.
but still make a profit from selling
Yeah.
a good player. And I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. Is it a massive profit? I mean, even if they did sell Gabriel
Well,
for 50 million,
like
I find hard to believe.
the amount they're
Yeah.
quoting, I don't think the Italian clubs would pay that much. That's the thing.
I think
That's
50
the
million for a
question.
defender,
Yeah,
I don't think is going to happen.
but especially from Italy. If it was Premier League, you'd believe it.
Yeah, so I think, but the fact that they've done an official bid that got rejected for Martinez clearly shows that they're really in the need to wheel and deal, and look to make profit from buying and selling to get their
seems like another
target.
tricky transfer window, man. could go so wrong, or could become really good. We'll see what happens at the end of the window. We'll do another short video. Let's move on. You kind of brought up Lukaku. I mean, what do you make of that whole saga? Really, looks like Inter Milan taking him for I think 8 million euros with add-ons, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I just agree with all the criticism that he's getting. To say the truth, it's not often that I agree with him, but he's just shown weak mentality the whole way through. He's just sulked, moaned, not performed. He comes there, he professes his love for Chelsea and all things Chelsea.
Never really shown that fight, has he?
Chelsea.
He never really shown that fight.
Yeah, as soon as things got tough, he just moaned, and it's like he, at the end of the day, he also forced through that move from Inter to Chelsea, and now he's kind of done everything to force through that move from Chelsea to Inter. He's done the same thing at United, where he stayed with the Belgium national team and refused to train until he got his move to Inter. So I just think a player like that, I mean, Conte was able to get the best out of him. Good luck to Inter Milan. I don't think he's going to be the same Lukaku. He'll do well because it's slower tempo football, and you can tell he prefers that direct and counter-attacking and kind of slower pace suits his style. So he'll still do well, but whether they're going to win titles, with characters like Lukaku, who I just think, without Conte made him take.
Yeah.
He listened to Conte. I don't think he's naturally disciplined enough.
So big one for you. Does that mean Chelsea fans should be excited of a big incoming striker?
I don't know. I mean,
and then the question is, who would that be? Who would that be? That guy that they get?
Yeah, I think they're hoping. Barcelona have played such a high risk strategy in terms of tapping up so many players, and convincing them of the project, but they're not having the money. I mean, they can't currently register the free transfer. They can't currently register Cassie and Christensen. And then they've got Lewandowski tapped. They had Rafinha tapped. They had I don't know, some other players tapped. Bernardo Silva tapped up. They all want to go, and then it's like you can't even register your free transfers at the moment.
So it's crazy.
So if that goes on,
and I think Dembele is signing for them as well. So
for who? For Chelsea?
Not for Barcelona. I think he's signing a contract.
Renewing. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that would be a cool. I think that might end the talk of Rafinha or Bernardo Silva, but I mean that would be a real subtrend of events, because it just felt like Dembele was, going for a big money move again. Do
you reckon we might be in for a surprise in terms of Lewandowski because of Barcelona not happening coming to Chelsea?
That's the thing, but I got a feeling Bayern are that type of club that will find a way to find a solution, because at the end of the day, he's a 45 goal a season striker.
Yeah.
We're not talking 30 goals.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
a
no, of course.
45 goal a
We're not
season
talking
striker.
25 too.
Yeah, we're not talking. This guy is doing astronomical, stats. So at the end of the day, he's he's not. You're not going to find a replacement for Lewandowski. He's elite. So I got a feeling Bayern might make a deal and let him leave the season after.
Yeah.
It all depends on Lewandowski, but I think if Bayern had the money, they would have found a replacement. If they find a replacement, then maybe there's a chance for Chelsea. There's a chance for other clubs, but yeah.
Would he be the only one that you think they could go for, or is there someone else? I mean, there is like links. I know he's not a striker. There is links for them with Sterling. They've been quite heavily linked with Sterling. So
Sterling is a bit of a strange one because he plays best as a winger. Unless Tuchel's planning to change his system slightly. The wing-back system, I don't know if all of that suits Sterling, but clearly if Sterling is on the market, it'd be a good sign in terms of profile. I just don't know. I mean, the thing
would he be an upgrade for
hard for strikers? I think Chelsea as a club is hard for strikers to do well in because of the 210s. The 210s eat up so much of the space of the striker and they get in the way a lot. So I just think it's tough.
And
tough for any striker.
In terms of obviously they had two defensive outgoings, Rudiger and then you had Christensen. That's definitely another area they need to strengthen, because I mean who have they got left? Thiago Silva, Chalobah.
So they definitely need to strengthen. I think they've been chasing Jules Koundé for 2 seasons now. Who would be a very good signing. He's a very dependable defender, very good defender. So I think Koundé is underrated. He's very good. Let's see. I mean, Sevilla have proven very difficult to negotiate with. They want a lot of money. They proved last summer they're willing to walk away from a deal. So I think Chelsea are in a transition, and they got a lot of they got Alonso wanting to join Barcelona as well. They got Aspilicueta waiting to join Barcelona as well. So the Barcelona tapping up machine is on a different level, and all I can say is it feels like Chelsea need more than just a couple of signings.
Yeah, seems like a big summer. I mean, obviously their the acquisition has finally been completed, and
you think like they really do need someone prolific, whether it's a prolific goal scorer from the wing or
wherever
up top.
They need someone that's going to score 20 or 25 goals basically from somewhere.
Yeah, because when you look at them, like the good players, they got a lot of good players, but none of them are natural scorers.
Cool. Let's move on to United. Quick one. I mean, what do you make of their links and their transfer plans? Because I mean, they were really close to signing Timber, but he decided to opt against the move.
Well, I think really close is exaggeration, to be honest. But I just think they're a bit not in reality right now, because I think they still think they're an elite club. They don't realize they're no longer considered an elite club. They no longer are, in the Champions League. They're not a club that's really desired anymore. And, there's too much turbulence in the background. No one's sure about Ten Hag's adjustment. It's a hard sell, and that's why he's going for players he knows, who have played under him. And I like the ambition of the players they're going for. I just don't feel they're actually going for players that are, every player they're going for are Champions League quality players. Julian Timber is one of the best young defenders going.
Coming up.
You got De Jong, absolute world-class player. You got Christian Eriksen, there's an opportunity there because he's not in the Champions League. So UEFA League is still an upgrade for him. So fine. But the worry for me is, one, I like the ambition, but I don't think it's realistic, the profile of players they're going for. And it just feels like all these players are used, and the agents are using United to get a better deal at their current club or at another club, like the way Nunes did.
Yeah.
So I just feel like, yeah, United will eventually get a fee agreed for De Jong, and guess what? Man City will swoop in and take him. I genuinely believe.
You really think that?
And I think at certain clubs don't want to go into an auction because it raises the price.
Yeah.
So they're just letting United do all the work, set the fee, just like Liverpool did with United on the Nunes deal. I just feel like that, and that's a smart way to do it, because then if you already know you hold the trump card in the sense that the player prefers to go to you, plus you are an elite club right now, you are in the Champions League, then let Man United do the work for you. Don't go into an auction. And I think a lot of players and agents are doing that. A lot of other clubs are being smart and letting United negotiate for certain players.
My next question: do you think it's important that United do their business early? Because obviously, new manager, you want to show intention, you want to show you bring in a player that will like entice the next signing and so on and so forth. But it seems like they're just kind of.
Well, it's not. For,
and then you got the issue
for lack of trying. I mean, I like the fact they have gone in for players early. They're the first ones to bid for players.
Yeah, Timber.
You know, they're putting clear offer on the table for Timber. They put clear offer on the table for Nunes. They put clear offer on the table for De Jong. Yeah. So it's not. That's not the problem. The problem is the players they're going for are higher caliber than where the club is currently, which is sad to say. So the chance of actually getting them or them being quick transfers is low. And I do think they need to reassess it, because also if you look at the players they're going for, they all fit that identity or the football that Ten Hag wants to play, which is he wants a target man striker. That's why I wanted Nunes, you know, because he's used to having that Hala type of figure as the focal point. He wants these, you know, tiki-taka midfielders, and that's why it's good for De Jong. You know, so you can see what he's going for. But the thing is, if you ask anyone, what does United need to improve on? Everyone will tell you they need to improve on their athleticism, their strength, their work rate, and they're going for players that don't really have that. Like Frankie De Jong and Christian Eriksen aren't gonna put the work off the ball. They're not guys who are gonna win that ball. They're not gonna be physical. They're not gonna be athletic. Yeah, they might be technically great players, and that tells me that maybe Ten Hag thinks exactly the tempo and the pace he was playing at Ajax is going to work in the Premier League, and it ain't, because even Pep had to adjust his game and quicken up his game and play a bit more direct and a bit more counter-attacking to be successful in the Premier League. So I think I like the ambition of the players. I don't think it's smart, and I'm a bit worried because it seems like they're going for a lot of technical players when they need energy in that squad. They need midfield workers.
They really need an engine in that midfield, engine with like ability as well. Does that make sense? Like someone that can also handle that ball. That's what it's missing. Let's move on. I mean, talking of energy and engine, Bissouma to Spurs, 25 million, came out of nowhere. It seems like a steal.
Well, when you say energy and engine, all you think about is Conte. And that's the Conte is just transformed that club. They're operating in an elite way. You know, even he's managed to knock some sense into Levy. They're doing transfers early.
Yeah.
What is going on? This is Tottenham. We're talking about Levy here. You know, the guy waits until the last day of the transfer window to get the bargain basement signings.
Listen, Andy, when you have someone like Conte, I think you would be willing to change.
Yeah, the guy's on another level. I mean, smart business again. They're buying players that fit the profile. Perisic, I think, is going to absolutely rip the Premiership. Basuma, we already know he suits that system of deep line playmaker, kind of staying deep, driving the team. So they're really profiling good players and the players that fit their system. Can't remember, I think they've got one other player. Oh, Fraser Forster is a good solid backup. And the thing is, Fraser Forster was first choice at Southampton last year.
Yeah.
So, I think that's another smart one. Lloris was a bit dodgy at times, so I think,
It put good pressure on Lloris, isn't it?
Yeah. And the other players they are going for is, I mean, the curious one is the fact that they keep getting linked with the striker, like especially Lautaro Martinez.
Yeah.
Who else was it they're going for? Even Gabriel Jesus. So again, they all fit the Conte mold. They're all terriers. They're all guys that are going to work hard, beat the press.
If they get Lautaro Martinez, oh my God.
Or Gabriel Jesus.
No, I'd be more thinking about Lautaro Martinez because, I really like Lautaro Martinez. So
we ain't getting him from Inter. I don't think Inter. Right. I don't know if they sign Dybala and Lukaku, they clearly got to sell someone.
Yeah.
All of them can't fit on the pitch. So
yeah. So let's move on to Aston Villa. Adil. Great early signing straight away. I mean, they got in. They confirmed the signing of Coutinho, Boubacar Kamara, and Diego Carlos. I mean, that was the one that. I mean, both of them came out of nowhere, really.
Well, I think Kamara was actually known. It was announced.
I mean, in terms of Kamara was like going to go to Atletico Madrid and so on and so forth. Like Aston
Villa. I think in like everyone kind of knew Aston Villa was always ahead, always kind of had that one wrapped up.
Yeah.
The Diego Carlos one, is a really good signing because anyone who's watched Villa recently, I mean, their defending is terrible, and so many individual errors that Mings and Konsa make.
Yeah,
they're just defenders trying to be too physical all the time that they forget to even look at where the ball is. So I think it's a really good signing. Kamara is a very good signing because you can tell he was never really settled on because the problem with Aston Villa, we said it quite a few last year, quite a few times. Every one of their midfielder wants to play like a playmaker. Douglas Lewis doesn't want to sit.
Nah.
McGinn doesn't want to sit. Ramsey doesn't want to sit.
Yeah, but
they all want to dribble. They all want to play make.
Yeah.
They all want to try and do everything. They all want to play the Hollywood pass. And so they just need that type of guy who's thinking about keeping things ticking over, filling up the gaps, pressing and shielding. And Kamara is perfect for that. It's calm on the ball, just plays the game simple. There's a current France international. So, and a free transfer, I mean, you would have expected maybe some other of the clubs to go for him. I think the biggest thing about Aston Villa that I'm interested in is about the fact that they lost Beale as their assistant manager, and then they went and got Neil Critchley in, who had done an amazing job at Blackpool, really got them playing good football, and how they managed to attract a manager to come in as their assistant. Obviously, it's well documented at Aston Villa that the assistant manager is like the actual manager, and a lot of power is given to the assistant manager, and Beale had a lot of power, and now Critchley is going to have that. But still, I think that could be their best signing. I genuinely think Critchley is one of the top best young managers going, and he will have Aston Villa set up and organised, and without losing their identity of playing good football. So I think, Aston Villa
exciting times for Steve and Villa.
Yeah, they're actually tackling the problems of their team, which is what you want to see.
And they got in a backup for Martinez and as well in Robin also from Roma as well. So
Yeah, which he was on loan there last year.
Yeah,
And that's another side. He didn't really get to play, but
yeah,
he clearly enjoyed the environment and the training enough to want to go and stay there. And obviously, Aston Villa is playing dollars with their wages to people, so they're punching above their weight because they're making the difference with the wages.
because of the wages. Yeah. Let's move on to Leeds, one of the teams that stayed up in the last day. Already 3 signings in, Adil. Brendan Aronson, Rasmus Christensen, and Mark Roca. What do you make of the signings?
I think all 3 signings are good. Aronson's an absolute, he's a gem of a signing. I'm shocked there wasn't more of a battle for him. I think he's absolutely going to light up the Premier League if he doesn't have injuries and that. I mean,
21 years old, only
USA international.
Yeah.
Quite similar to Christian Pulisic. I mean, in the way he plays, but he's just highly intelligent player. Can play on both for.
Is he a replacement for Rafinha then? Is that what he is? Do you reckon?
No, because he can play on the wing, but I think his best position is like a 10. When he's given that free roaming role, he can cause havoc. I've watched him quite a bit. I think he's an absolute gem of a signing. Christensen's another gem of a signing. Really good right back, fast, strong, everything you're looking for. Definitely an upgrade on Ayling. And Mark Roca has got good pedigree. I mean, he's coming from Bayern. He was part of the Spain youth setup a lot. So, he's got good pedigree. We don't know whether he'll adjust or make the grade in the Premier League. But
I mean, it's clear to see he's clearly gone into the market that he knows, like the German market, and is getting the players that he wants from there.
Yeah, he is. And I mean, the biggest thing for Leeds and that's going to always be the biggest question. Are they going to able to resist the offers that come in for Phillips and Rafinha? I think it looks like they've accepted Rafinha will leave.
Yeah.
Can they reject offers from City for Phillips? That's because those guys are more than just selling a player or selling your best players. Those guys are like the leaders in the dressing room. And I don't know if they've signed anyone of that caliber who commands that respect or that stature in the dressing room in their signings. They've brought young, hungry, really talented youngsters that maybe don't have that presence.
As a Phillips.
But yeah, good signings, I have to say. Aronson, if he gets game time, he will be a star.
I mean, exciting times, isn't it? And they play exciting football, so he's definitely gonna, get the chance to showcase his skills. Really. On that note, Adil, thank you as always for your great insight, and for those of you watching, thank you for watching. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, and we're really sorry for missing out in all of these weeks because we've just been really busy. But again, thank you. Please like, share, subscribe, and see you soon.